Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, the amazing Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers. I am the daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, the granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and the great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your morning mental workout. My live is sponsored by the Elements H2O. When I say drink water, you drink water. I need to drink water from the TikTok live, so go ahead and drink water. I apologize for being late. I was minding my own business on my TikTok live, and a black man came on there and told me he can't listen to me because I don't have my real hair on. So once again, I took my wig off, and then I went to proceeded to tell him why I can't listen to him. And then that turned into a conversation of the raggedy assness of black men, not African American men, but black men. Just so happens that Dr. Olagun turned in his Neuro rep yesterday, and I was going to use him and Lacey for Lacey's question this morning and his for a point for attrition. It turned into something different. And so I needed to finish that out because that TikTok live is going to turn into a YouTube live, and things needed to be said. What was interesting was that as I was bringing things up, people then told me that I need help. I got daddy issues and everything else. I said I do. I got daddy issues and stepdaddy issues from them not doing their fucking part. That's where my issues are. But I still say my daddy's name every single day because I have his face. Good morning, Anita. And so what I would like to say is it's interesting that the predators have a whole narrative so the victims will shut up and they won't say anything. But I'm not that person. I'm not about that. I did not say nothing then, and I'm not going to say nothing now. I'm not going to do that. And so this whole notion of literally you need some help. No, they need some help. They need some help. Black men need help. They need to help themselves. I'm saying it again over here. They are the problem. They are the actual problem. And so I'm not going to allow it to occur anymore and act like they're not their own problem. I'm not willing to say that. I'm not going to fucking say that. There is a difference between an African American man and a black man. There is a difference. 100%. One is actually a man and one is actually a bitch. That's the difference. So I'm not going to not say it. This isn't a matter of self-hate or anything. There is a group of people harming other people on purpose and being able to get away with most of it because of the narratives that they fucking created. Everybody told me I needed to get help. Make that make sense. So in instances of assault where I said no and they said go, I needed help then. That's when I needed help. I needed help to stop the assaults. I needed help then. And I didn't get help then. So now the narrative is sit in a therapy room and unpack what happened. How? How could I unpack what happened when half of the reason why I would need the help isn't there? So how do you unpack that? You said no and they assaulted you. How do you feel about that? Fucked up. That's how I feel. Violated. That's how I feel. And when authorities were contacted, nothing happened. Nothing happened. That's why it gets to keep happening, because nothing is happening. That's why it continues. And so then the victims feel bad and they victimize the victim. So then the victim don't want to talk. But I'm going to talk. I'm going to say it every time it comes up. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it every time it comes up. I'm not the only one, but apparently the only one that's willing to say it publicly. And when more people start saying it publicly, we're going to normalize that shit. We're going to normalize that instead of normalizing victimize the victim. That's why it keeps happening. Real men know that no means no. And women too, because women assault people too. But I'm just talking about my experience with this motherfucker bringing to my remembrance people tell, oh, your hair. And as I said, I broke this nail yesterday at an appointment. I was like, oh my God, I got her to get it fixed. And I said, why? And then I literally said, oh, Because these motherfuckers said you can't have no broke nail. So my nail appointment is on August 3rd, and this nail will be broken until August 3rd. That's what's going to happen behind this shit. So there's a group of people out there got everybody all flustered and shit. And they playing us like a fucking fiddle. Everybody got sympathy for this group, trying to rescue this group. And this group is out there living their life like it's golden. That's what the fuck is happening. They got people put money on their books after they committed a crime. Allegedly. My nephew done been in jail 3 times. That motherfucker did it every time. I don't know no not guilty people. I don't know not one black man that didn't do it. I don't. I'm from the cut. They all did it. Not one person. That narrative. Somebody literally came on a TikTok live and told me, I got daddy's issues. Isn't that interesting? Your father wasn't a father, and now you got daddy issues, and that's your fault. You got to work out the shit that your parents didn't do. And you have the issue. That's coming to me now because I told mama's boys with daddy's issues. Maybe daddies are the issues. Why ain't no daddy's issues 12-step programs for the daddies? Where those programs at? Be a better father. 12-step programs. Won't have none of that. But we got daddy's issues. Why? Because the therapist can do something with that. Talk to the motherfucker after the fact instead of the motherfucker before the fact. Why we can't talk to, they the ones causing the problems. Why we in therapy? How we gonna fix what they myelinated? Don't that shit sound crazy, level 1 through 5? We gonna fix their myelination. My daddy died, but he drunk until the day he died. How me sitting somewhere gonna fix him being a dead drunk? See how that don't make no sense? Yes, I had to go through the 12 steps, but everything is after the fact. Nothing but this is before the fact. See how that don't make no sense? Sit in a room and talk about being assaulted, about how you feel about that, and the assaulter is chilling. Chilling. That's some Oscar shit. And the therapist and the psychiatrist and the psychologist fell for a hook, line, and sinker. Well, let's talk to you about being assaulted in college. Now, you were roofied. My mama told me I shouldn't have been drinking, y'all. My drunk ass mama yelled at me for drinking at a party and told me that's why it happened. Why was you drinking at the party? That's what she said on the phone to me. You gave me malt liquor when I was 8 years old at a barbecue. You a recovering crackhead. You yelling at me. Then you bring a predator in our house. And then I tell you what he did. And you say, why didn't you get some help? That's the Oscars shit I ever heard of in my life. Why did you bring a predator in our house? You see how that's stupid? So now I need some help. I wasn't loved enough. I would agree with that. I didn't fix myself. No, you didn't. No, the fuck you didn't. When we gonna stop having to recover from this shit? When? When are we gonna mandate they prune that shit and myelinate something different? Where is that line at? Where's that meeting at? I told y'all when I went to go my intake for the MST, and surprisingly enough, a black man was checking me in, y'all. And I told y'all this story. I told y'all this. He like, yeah, so how the program works. And he started asking me about me. I said, oh shit, I'm sitting in front of a predator right now. This is interesting. Got it. I'm in an MST intake, and he literally said, you got a doctorate? How long it take you to do that? This motherfucker act like we was on a dating app, and we said, I'm like, oh hell no. If they got you as the intake, So then I told him the whole story and watched his ass squirm in his fucking chair. That part. You didn't want to hear it, nigga. Well, and so we got individuals and we got, he explained it, MST, military sexual trauma counseling. Yeah, so how the program works is, he didn't say, wow, that's an atrocity. That's a terrible thing that happened to you. Here's how we can help you. So the bitch on TikTok that just said go get some help, the predators are checking people in. So then, you know what I'm saying? So you interested? Absolutely not. I told him, let me ask you this. What are the programs for the pre? What are the preventative programs? Y'all got one of them? Because I'll be damned if I'm going to sit in a room with a bunch of other fucking victims talking about what the motherfuckers did while the motherfuckers is out there doing it. So until y'all got a fucking program for them, until y'all got some shit to stop it, I won't be in after the fact. I'm not going to keep having my hippocampus relive it again and again and again and again and again. And somehow that's supposed to make me feel better for journaling. This shit is stupid. The problem is the orbital frontal cortex and the myelination of the shit feeling good to them. And now the shit felt bad to me, and my bonus prize is to go sit and talk to somebody about it again and again and again and again and again and again. That's my bonus. That's my bonus. And people had me feeling bad, but now we know how many motherfuckers was getting roofied in the 90s. It was a thing. Bill Cosby, perverted Diddy. So they was all doing it, following their leaders. And now it all makes fucking sense. Now it all makes fucking sense. Everybody like, damn, I woke up from what the fuck happened to me? Where my clothes at? And the message is, you go get help. I did not take care of my teeth. Y'all didn't see me shed one fucking tear. Nola didn't either. I came after them dental appointments, mouth sore and everything, did my lies and everything. What'd I say? I fucking fucked up my teeth. And now I'm getting them fixed. Y'all ain't gonna hear shit out of me. The dentist gave me rave reviews. The hygienist, the doggone receptionist, Nola said she didn't have to do aftercare. I took one Tylenol every time after every visit and that was it. Y'all didn't hear nothing from me. Why? Because I caused it. So I solved it. I caused it. So I solved it. We're talking to the wrong people. We're talking to the wrong fucking people. We're talking to the wrong fucking people. The victims got to work through their shit. I ain't got shit to work through. I wasn't doing nothing. What the fuck am I working through? What am I working through? What she have on? BDUs? Jeans and a t-shirt? How to get to that? Because Oscar want to know what you was wearing. You little loose woman and loose man. Because don't think for no second that has not happened to the same genders. Pervs are pervs. They need to start chopping off that thing they committed the crime with, and I'd be good. It wouldn't be a problem, but they don't do it for the same reason you're talking about, because they're perverts too. No, we ain't supposed to talk about it. Make you feel bad about it so we can keep doing it. No. Absolutely not. It's neurological. You see that? So we had yesterday what's happening neurologically. Oscar doesn't give a fuck about the consequences. I need this right now. This is what I'm about to do right now. It's them. It's them and their brain. And I am just baffled, bum fucking fuzzled that nobody has figured this out yet prior to me. You're talking to the wrong person. No one's talking about how to prune it. No one's talking about that. Well, see, let's do a profile. Let's do a profile of a person that would do something like this. It's everyday people doing it too. And they're not sociopaths. A regular motherfucker with a regular job. My mother's husband worked at the plant for 38 fucking years. They called him 712 because he was in that bitch 7 days a week, 12 hours a fucking day. Give you the shirt off his back and food and everything else. Well, nobody gonna think that motherfucker was a pervert. Hiding in plain fucking sight. No. So let's make you keep talking about it. So then you'll shut the fuck up, because that's where, well, go talk about it. Go get some help. I'm such a terrible person. Why does it keep happening to me? No, why y'all keep myelinating being a fucking pervert? Why y'all keep myelinating being a raggedy motherfucker? Why y'all keep myelinating that? Because it's easier to do that than to actually train your brain to be a high functioning, capable person. It's easy to go and touch and take and pull and do what you want right now instead of actually. Nola didn't know. You see what a good person I am, ladies and gentlemen? The motherfuckers asked me, give us another chance. We're gonna be better grandparents. She had no fucking clue. My mother made me give that motherfucker birthday presents and Father's Day fucking presents and Christmas presents. And I took that shit on the chin. I said, you know what? Maybe he done. Maybe he's done. Let's see if they could be better grandparents. Nope. You myelinated it, so you demonstrated it. You myelinated it. My own husband blamed me for the shit her husband did. He couldn't believe that I didn't do nothing, asking me all kind of, why you ain't leave? Why you stay there? I mean, that just don't make no sense. I don't like how this making me feel. I feel like you lying to me. Bitch, I met you in church. Really? Okay, cool. Got it. Well, you can get the fuck on too. You can get the fuck on too. Nobody can't believe it because it ain't enough of us saying it happened to us. If everybody tomorrow woke up and came forward and said, I was assaulted at this age and this age and this age by this person and this person and this person, it would be a small group of people that hadn't been assaulted and a large group of people that everybody would be clutching their pearls like, you kidding me? You kidding me? I can't believe, I can't, but oh my God. Because it is an academic, to quote Floyd Mayweather. Nobody want to talk about this shit. Because look what happens to the victim when you talk about it. Look what happens to you and look what happens to them. Absolutely fucking nothing at all. Smoke screens and mirrors. We want to fucking talk about global warming. Let's talk about people touching people that don't want to be touched. Let's talk about that shit. And now you got to do all these things that you can't fucking do no more. Because you're like, oh my God, I can't. I'm sitting on the live right now, making sure my shorts pull down. So somebody won't say some shit about my legs. The world would break, only it actually wouldn't, because then they'll explain it away. It's crazy how the family doesn't believe it when you talk about it. They can't believe it. And let me tell y'all what I did. I asked Chat about that. And Chat said the reason why they can't believe it is because they don't want to believe that it could happen to them. That's number one. And they don't want to believe that that person could do something like that. They don't want to believe that. And what I'm saying is, it's neurological. Exactly, Teresa. It's neurological. Oscar is saying, when I do this, I get a release of dopamine. So I'm going to keep doing this because it makes me feel good. They're not even considering if you feel bad because the Insula and the ACC are not. The Insula is saying, oh, do this. This feels good. And the ACC is saying, no, this ain't bad. I don't feel any friction. It's not happening. That's why I'm saying it's neurological, because everybody keeps looking at after the fact. This happened after the fact. And I'm saying what happened before the fact? What has been myelinated? And when you understand how the brain works, I have done this enough times where now it's implicit. So now I'm doing it and I don't even know I'm doing it anymore. We watched yesterday Jeff 20 fucking times. Could not stop his Oscar. So now you can't even stop yourself from doing it. You couldn't stop yourself. You would literally have to strengthen your dorsolateral prefrontal cortex to stop Oscar from Oscaring. The basal ganglia is saying now it's time. You need this release. You need this release. You need this release. And the fact that nobody before me has actually broken this shit down is insane to me. It's neurological. And you can actually stop it before it starts. If you make them motherfuckers actually strengthen their dorsolateral prefrontal cortex to prune that shit. Prune it. I did it. It feels good to me. I did it. It feels good to me. That's the only logical thing that makes sense. That's why they're sitting there like, but I didn't do anything wrong. They will be getting sentenced and everything and say, I didn't do anything wrong, because the brain said, but that shit felt good to me. How could it have been wrong if it felt good to me? It felt good to me. So it must have been right because I felt good doing it. The brain can't reconcile and say this is bad and this is good on its own. I felt good when I did that, so I'm going to keep doing it. More than once, and one incident, 3 separate strangers that didn't even know each other and tried to attack me. It was horrible. Something happened in my brain and I was changed. Exactly. And now you have to go sit somewhere and keep reliving that. How the fuck are you going to explain what someone else's brain did to you? How you going to unpack that? Now you can unpack the shit that you fucking did. And this whole notion is we got to recover from some shit somebody else did. If you're an alcoholic, if you were drunk, if you were foodie, I fucked up my teeth. That shit's on me. I fucked my teeth up. Lacey is losing weight right now. Jared has to stop eating honey buns. Daisy got to deal with some shit that she did. So you can sit in a room and talk about shit you did, decisions you made. If you become a crackhead, you can talk about why you became a crackhead, because that's what you did. But to sit in a room to try to unpack what another motherfucker's brain did, and then you're not even talking about the brain, you're talking about the behavior. Well, how does that make you feel? Well, how does that make you feel? At a minimum, we could say, what was happening neurologically in that person's brain? Because at that point, at a minimum, you can have logic behind it, the neuroscience behind it. What was taking place in that brain that then did this action? What was taking place in my brain was taking place in their brain. But we're not about to do, we're going to do that over here, but not before then. Not at all. So we're reflecting on that this morning. How can you know why someone else did something to you? How can you know that without them ever being present? It's not like you get to stand in the room with your accuser and say, why the fuck did you do that? And I asked my mother husband, y'all want to know what his dumb ass said through an email? Well, I was attracted to you and I thought you was going to join in. 4 years, y'all. Persistent. 4 years. That was his answer. So let me sit in therapy. Y'all be my therapist. Well, here's what I did after I finished journaling. I actually emailed my predator. And I said, well, why did you do it? And his response was, I was attracted to you and I thought you were going to join in. Now, the other part of that email, which was interesting, what he really felt was he said, and now John, Nola, and your sister know. John is my nephew. That's what he put in the email, y'all. And now they know. How y'all feel about that? He's still breathing. I'm good. So I asked the predator, since I need help, why you do that for 4 years? My answer was, his answer to me was, through the email, I was attracted to you and I thought you were going to join in. And now, John, your sister, and Nola knows. I'm 19 to 23 years old when this takes place. And it started 3 months before him and my mother was about to get married. Carrying this shit around for 20 something years, 30 years, somewhere around there. And this is what the fuck he says. So even if you get the opportunity to meet your predator, ask them why they did it, that's the answer. That you tormented me for 4 years, walking around. I can't see men in robes because of your ass. That, and the part you care about, not me, not what the fuck it did to me, but that your other stepdaughter and your grandchildren know. Now, you see, you now they know. Got it. Let me get a phone call and they say he dead. And we need you to come to the funeral. Y'all sure about that? Y'all, you Is this thing on? Sit back, ladies and gentlemen. Let me tell you a story about your uncle and your beloved friend. Not the one y'all know, but the one I know intimately. Yeah, let everybody listen to this so you have a different memory. They done pulled me out the pew or the podium or whatever, slid my ass. They need security and everything else. Yes, he and everyone like him should be relocated to exist with themselves. Sounds like he just worried about other people knowing what he really is. Sick. Hell is hot. Ain't no water there. So that part. That part. Yep. And his wife, my mother said, why didn't you get some help? And that's, ladies and gentlemen, what we call Cinco de Slapo. Oh, well, you ain't got my back? Say less. Roger that. I see what team you picked. Got it. You go die with this motherfucker. I hope you die first, because if you need somebody to change your diapers, you'll be in the old folks home. I won't be changing shit. Nothing. So we need help from the person who harmed us. You don't have to be sorry, Shay. You didn't do shit. And I appreciate y'all saying that. You can have empathy for me, but that motherfucker did that. And she married to a pervert. That's on them. We good over here. I ain't even shedded a tear. I didn't reconcile neurologically, and everything else was taking place. So no, there will be no more family shit. Nothing at all. Ain't enough apologies in the fucking world. What you apologizing for? You want to change some shit? Change your brain. Myelinate something else. Myelinate something different than that behavior. So if you have been harmed, talking to the person that harmed you, their Oscar is never going to be able to reconcile with themselves. And the thing that he cared about was his public image more than the damage that it caused to me. Not even a fucking fact. I said, well, look at Oscaring. Okay, cool, bet. Roger that. I wouldn't piss on y'all if you were on fire. Left an incredible impression upon your mind, something you can't get rid of even if you wanted to, the nerve. Exactly. And they want me to come over there and break bread with them. I'll break some shit. You sure you want me to come back? You're gonna fuck up my passport. I ain't catching no case behind y'all. I'm gonna be able to still travel internationally. But I'm not the only one. I'm probably the only one that's like, I'm mad as hell and I ain't taking this shit no more. Then took it on the chin and everything for what? He's a matriarch. His mother died on her deathbed. She said, I want you to take care of the family. Keep the family together. He is the favorite son. He is the favorite uncle. He is the best friend and everything. And he, to me, is a pervert. Waited until I turned 19, because he got there when I was 13 going on 14. No, I was 14 by the time she moved him in. And the motherfucker waited until I turned 19, 3 months before their wedding. And I had to make a decision while I watched my mother beg this motherfucker to marry her. Say something and ruin her life, or be quiet and ruin mine. That's some real leadership right there, boy. 19 fucking years old, deciding. Ain't gonna say shit. Yeah. And then her bitch ass in 2022 gonna say, why didn't you get some help? I got this. Protecting the predators. We should make it a movie. That part. So speak up. Let me be a lesson to you that if you keep saying it, the pain will go away. You won't have any tears, and you will reconcile in your own brain that you didn't do anything wrong. You did nothing. Their weak ass, dysregulated, ossified brain said, I need this shit right now, and I don't give a fuck what happens to you. I'm too concerned with what I want right now. And if you look at every time it's happened to anybody, neurologically, that's what's taking place. And then after it's over, they go back to normal. No, that felt good. How could that feel bad to you? It felt good to me. Really now. T-shirts coming soon. Miss Darlene would never. So you're telling me a logical brain would sit down and say, there's a 3-year-old Let me go on here and insult them when they don't know what's happening. There's a 19-year-old college student, and then I'm going to stop her mid-college career and ruin her life. Now, what's interesting is I told y'all the story about somebody coming into our house and robbing us at gunpoint. Took my mother in the room, assaulted her. We called her husband at work, and he came home brandishing weapons, and he was mad as hell. All the while, walking around, pleasuring himself and naked when we're in the house by ourselves, simultaneously. Never registered with him. Never registered with him. Never occurred to him that the same thing that happened to his wife, he was doing a lesser version to me. 4 years. Never made the connection. Mad as hell to somebody that came and violated his wife. See the cognitive dissonance? See the cognitive dissonance. Still didn't stop. Still didn't stop. Continued for 2 more years after that. Didn't stop. Didn't say, oh, wait a minute. This is my karma. I should stop doing this. Never occurred. Never registered. Not at all. Not in the least bit. Did not occur to anybody that was a problem. Why didn't you get some help? Why don't you get some help? You got daddy's issues. Yep. A lot of us got daddy's issues and mama's issues too. And I said this on TikTok Live, don't think for 1 second that women ain't touching other little girls or men ain't touching other little boys. It's happening to everybody. I read in Sugar Ray Leonard's book, some coach that was driving him around, picking him up and taking him to practice. I mean, not practice, but boxing lessons. Literally was in the car with him when he was a teenager and went on over and started rubbing on him. He said it was years before he could reconcile that in his head. His damn coach. His male coach. Okay. But he did finally have the ability to put it in his book. Yeah. But we over here worried about global warming and shit. This is the epidemic. This is the fucking problem. This is the issue. This is what needs to be addressed before the fact, not after the fact. The work I'm doing is so important because it teaches people how this mechanism works. How this mechanism works. So you will be consciously aware of everything that you're doing at all times. That's why you got to keep Miss Darlene online. Because if you let Oscar run shit, Oscar is immediate. Oh, that didn't happen. Identity protection shows up and all these other things. I'm not a bad person. What are you talking about? That's not what happened. Russell Simmons, they moved to Bali. That's not how I saw that. Diddy in jail right now. That's not how I saw that. We were just having fun. And I'm just a little frisky. It's like a little freakiness going on. That's what Oscar is telling you. Because a sane person, a rational person would never. So then you spin it and make it seem like that's not what's happening, Bill Cosby, Harvey Weinstein, and everybody else, the regular folks. No, that's not what was happening. Yes, it was. So the laws, you go to jail for more time having some weed than you do for touching somebody that shouldn't have been touched. I mean, you damn near got to kill them to get some real time. It's not that bad. It shows you how many people have said that this is normal. This just happens. This is just part of it. Doggone Forbes. Everybody want to talk about the Forbes fortune. Used to be the Forbes 400. Daddy Forbes was a pedophile. And everybody knew it. Long before Epstein's Island. I'm on the Forbes billionaires list. Yeah. Well, you know, he's got a little thing for little boys. That's how they said it. It was in Elizabeth Taylor's book. Mm-hmm. Yep. That part. So when you actually have the neurological capacity to be personally accountable, now you understand why I keep saying, say personal accountability, because you are responsible and accountable for all that you do and all that you fail to do. You're responsible for you. Everybody does, if you do like this, you fix you first. It fixes a lot. In fact, it fixes every human problem that we got beyond the soul. You are responsible for you. And until you wire your brain for personal accountability, stupid shit is still going to keep happening. Uncontrolled, immediate gratification things are going to keep happening, and you're going to excuse it away and excuse-ally it away so you don't have to do anything about it. Her calmer tune, does she stop and reconcile why it happened to her? She minded her own business when an ossified feels like, what happened? Did you delete it? Okay. Because sexual assault is just an extreme case of inhibitory control. You fix the brain, you fix a lot. That's correct. It fixes everything. It fixes everything. So we talked about yesterday what happens neurologically, and that's where I'm at. I'm also going to address behaviorally. As the black man on TikTok Live found out, I got receipts on receipts on receipts on receipts. So what we're not going to do is reduce me to my synthetic wig because I have alopecia. We're not going to do that. We're going to talk about real shit. We're going to talk about real shit over here. Everywhere. The behaviors and the neurological network that produce those behaviors. Because if you keep stopping at the behavior, it's not going to fix itself. That's not the root cause of why people hurt people. It's not the root cause of why people still don't know how their brain functions in everyday life while life is life and people are peopling. It's because it takes a very sound, strong brain to teach you how this works in real life. So the brain can brain while life is life and the people are peopling. That's what it takes. And you have to do this work. Everybody needs to do this work. Everybody won't because of attrition. And I'm going to read the definition of attrition again, the definition that I and chat made today. Because Nola messaged me this morning or last night and said your high school now on LinkedIn has the logo so you can put it in there and the logo will pop up. And so I did. And I thought about the conversation the other day where the troll came on and told me that they had a proper education because they went to Texas Aggies, Texas A&M. No disrespect to Dr. Oligodendrocytes who went there too. And I said, how is this different from me going to Cass and saying I went to Cass versus him saying he went to Texas A&M? And the difference is that there were over 1,400 of us as freshmen that showed up to freshman orientation way back in September of 1987. And then walking across the stage 4 years later, there were 602 of us. So over 800 freshmen never made it to graduation. That's attrition. Of that 602, 6 of us now have doctorates. So if it were the school, then 602 of us would have doctorates if it were just the school. When you go to a prestigious school or a school that gives you a leg up, you use that as an opportunity to go up even further. So that's the difference. I graduated in the bottom 50% of my CTA school class because them motherfuckers was just smart as hell. But now they call me Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers. So the impact that I have versus the other 500 and something people that don't have a doctorate. So it's not the school. Like Michael Jordan says, it's not the shoes. It's the person. It's what you do after that matters. So yes, I will still keep saying that I go to the #1 school in Detroit Public Schools because it is the baddest motherfucking school still standing to this day. That started in 1909. That bitch, well, not the original building, but the school is still there. Attrition. We got attrition over here on purpose. So what does attrition mean for neuromobility? It's the natural neurological separation between individuals who are willing to repeatedly strengthen their brain through consistent daily neural reps and those who choose the comfort of existing neural pathways. Attrition is not punishment, it's the predictable outcome of repeated behavioral choices over time. I am saying be responsible for all of your neurological connections that then lead to repetitive behaviors. You are responsible for you. Attrition isn't about whether you're smart enough. It isn't about your potential. It isn't even about whether life gets hard. Life gets hard for everybody. Everybody's life is hard differently. Attrition happens because the system requires your brain to brain, while life is lifing and people are peopling. There are people who are getting messages from me saying, if you continue on this path, you will not make it to the next level. That's attrition. My comment scrolled up. I read your comment, Nola, because sexual assault is just an extreme case of inhibitory control. You fix the brain, you fix a lot of. I said that already. I read it. So every day, Oscar wants immediate gratification. And every day, your habits want to repeat yesterday. Everyday distractions compete with your attention. That's why you say, okay, you said something else, it must be hidden. Let me see. Sarah said SA isn't a spiritual nature. That's kind of deep. Remember I said, Noah said, well, you got into cast from your mom's crack years, so that shit was hard. That is true. Got it. Remember I said I stopped reading the View thing because people saying shit, but yeah. So I read, y'all. That was it. Right. So my mother was on crack based upon me being in the 7th grade, and those are the grades that they use for you to get the application to be able to take that, fill out the application to take the test to get into the school. So that part, you are correct. So everyday distractions compete for your attention. Neuromobility doesn't pause because work got busy. Your brain doesn't stop because life started. It doesn't stop because your emotions are loud. It doesn't disappear because someone irritated you. The question is, will your brain still brain today? I tell you to wake up and bring Miss Darlene online, do your neural reps close to the beginning of your day as possible so she can be online all day. I tell you don't do anything without a why and a strategy that enacts the ventral medial prefrontal cortex and dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. I tell you to focus on your 2 levels up. Because if you got 2 levels up, you're not going to do dumb shit today because that's going to impact your 2 levels up tomorrow. Will your brain still brain today? The students who stay are not the ones with the easiest lives. They're the ones who repeatedly choose another neural rep. Those daily choices strengthen the neural pathways that support real leadership. Monique messaged me and said, can I use the principles of real leadership in my live? I said, of course. That's what they're there for. Absolutely. The students who leave usually leave not because they can't do the work. Everybody is capable of doing this work. It's 86 billion neurons and 85 billion glial cells. They leave because they can't stop choosing the work consistently. Their brain defaults back to the familiar, and comfort quietly replaces growth. So yes, this system creates attrition, but intentionally. Not to exclude people, but to reveal who's willing to become the type of person who can consistently lead themselves. I say it all the time, you are the CEO of Me Incorporated. Daily repetition is the admission ticket, and your brain has to brain while life is lifing and people are peopling. Neuromobility doesn't eliminate people. It reveals who is willing to repeatedly choose brain development when their brain would rather choose comfort. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. Every day, you got a growth choice and a comfort choice, and a growth choice and a comfort choice. Every day, all day long. And there's a scoreboard, and I even made a graphic for it. So every time you choose comfort, Oscar gets the point. And every time you choose growth, Miss Darlene gets the point. And you get to the end of the day, you got to look at that scoreboard. What did you actually choose? every single day, all day long. I'm going to explain this again for the people in the back. I am assessing. If you are not on the live, you watch the live, did you answer the questions in the comment section? What did I learn today? What I learned about myself? All of that. I'm assessing your neural reps. When you put them in, you had to research something and you got 4 sentences and it didn't say 3 to 5 sentences, and I can't see your growth and development from what you was doing before and what your takeaway is, you're not getting a level 4. People getting messages from me at level 4. This ain't level 4 work. Do level 4 work. Because the system that I built is Oscar proof. The system that I built ensures that your brain becomes high functioning so you can become a fully capable, high functioning adult that has a brain that brains when life is lifing and people are peopling. I did knowledge environment plus living environment as alive so you can see the difference. Knowing about the brain is not the same as being able to use the brain on purpose while life is lifing and people are peopling. Your brain is braining. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm paying attention to. So there will be some more people this time next month that's not going to be here. Here. Not on Earth, but not here. Because you're not doing the work. I will not allow you to be in this space not doing the work. Because that's the equivalent, and I know this is a terrible example, but that's the equivalent to me going to get therapy for some shit you did. Because that's what it's asking. It's asking me to make concessions. But somebody not doing the work. No. You're not actually doing the work for your brain. So you're not actually going to stay over here. If it's 3 of us, then it's 3 of us. That's 3 bad motherfuckers doing the work. But I don't want 55,000 half-ass people that don't know how their brain functions. Because that's Oscars. If you look at that, that's 50,000 Oscars. And that's 100,000 amygdalas left and right. Doing all kind of stupid shit all fucking day long. Because why? Because you're choosing comfort. Because you're not doing the neurological work to strengthen your brain so that the orbital frontal cortex does its job. I see shit, I send notifications on what I see. The left and right amygdala are chilling because everything is good and they only notice is that a threat? Let me send a message. I think that's a threat. No, that's not a threat. We good. Sarah said, like a prisoner of war or something, concessions. Yes, Lacey said the Oscar proof is for real because I was able to get the decorating done in 6 hours and it was intense all day. And Miss Darlene stayed online with 1 crash out. That's amazing for you. That's amazing for you, Daisy, because you got a weak stomach. Had a weak stomach. Teresa said that happened to me, to mom on crack in the 7th grade. That affected my brain, fucked me up. One thing she never got off, my transition at 74. I'm at peace with it all. Okay. Well, my mama's still alive, causing fucking problems. She'd be 76 in December. So yeah, she did get off and just switched addictions. But that's her story to tell, not mine. I'm sorry, no crash outs. Okay, great. That's even better, Lacey. 1 would have still been good, but 0 is even more amazing. Everybody give Lacey a hand clap. For visitors to the channel, go ahead and read the pinned post. You can look, listen, and like, but you have not earned the right to type. Should you decide to type, you will be removed from this channel. So if you are not a member of this channel, not a subscriber, but a member, and you are not in level 1 through 5, you will be removed if you continue to type. You can look, listen, and like. You have not earned the right to type. You have not earned the right to type. So that's amazing. So yes, there is attrition over here. Yes, there is standards. Set and maintain high standards is one of the 74 principles for leadership. All of that exists over here for a reason, because it exists nowhere else. We cannot continue as an adult global population to function like this. It's dysfunctional as hell. And everybody just keeps saying, well, that's because, that's because. And I'm saying bullshit. You got a brain, you got billions of neurons and billions of glial cells. Why the fuck we still acting like this? Why are we still behaving as if we don't have access to this mechanism day in and day out? And it's because of comfort. And there's all this language, this Oscarified language to keep us stuck in it. Cognitive overload. And I say you got cortical real estate. Negativity bias. Think positive. Social conformity theory. Embrace diversity. You see how that works? You see how for everything they got a negative thing. Over here, we got a bad motherfucker thing. And the results are better. Because your brain is braining while life is life and people are peopling. I hope I live to be in my 90s or in my hundreds like my grandfather's side of the family. At a minimum, I'll be about 78. If all things go well, 78, 80, somewhere around there. So I got some more time to be here. So I will talk to each individual person and I will tell them about their brain and how they can improve it until I'm not here anymore. Because this is the work. This is the work. There's no more important work to me than this work. Because this is the only thing that does work. I can't paint. I can sing okay. I might be able to cut a rug, dance a jig for a minute. But the thing that I was born to do is to change humanity. One brain at a time. To flip the on switch neurologically for the everyday brain operating in everyday life. So I will never accept Oscarified anything because it doesn't make sense. I just showed y'all that you have been assaulted and you got to go get help. Past medical attention. How that makes sense? Many are called, few are chosen, quality over quantity. That's right. Set and maintain high standards over here. How that make sense? How that make sense? I'm the first person to kind of give people who have been assaulted a better understanding of how it happened. Immediate gratification. Neurologically, Oscar says, this feels good to me. And I can't actually care about you because I got to feel good right now. I got to feel good right now. You're just the thing that's going to make me feel good right now. That's my biggest desire, is to strengthen my brain, to be in control of my mind, because my mind control is real. If you're not in control of your mind, someone else is. Yep. Well, Oscar is in control of it. And then you're just going to do what any other Oscar brain does because of the mirror neurons. So in a self-reflection Sunday moment, I'm going to say this again, and I'm being led to say this. If someone has assaulted you, start telling people. That TikTok sound, I'm going to tell everybody. And watch people squirm. Watch how many people say, well, did you get some help? Did you get some help? Somebody tell you got daddy issues? No, my daddy had issues. That's different. My daddy was a drunk. His daddy was a drunk. So they had issues. My mother's husband has issues. Daddy has issues, not me. Put that shit on us. That's Oscar. Oscar is never going to take responsibility for what Oscar fucked up. You got daddy issues. You didn't ask to be born. How the fuck you got daddy issues? See how that works? That's some Oscar shit. Well, they got daddy issues. How? How are you responsible for your daddy or your mommy? My mother smoked crack for 18 months. My sister been a hoe her whole life. My sister dating ballers. My mother is a customer of the ballers. And y'all know what I was doing during that 18 months? My sister moved out and everything. She was 15. I was 12. Came back. Then my mother had to go in there and treatment for 40 months. You know what I was doing? Cutting grass, raking leaves, shoveling snow, getting good grades in middle school. And while my mother was in drug rehab, I became a science Olympiad at the regional level. I got accepted into Cass Tech High School. I was the MC for our 8th grade graduation, even after my best friend had to have both her breasts removed at 13 years old. That's what was happening for me at the same time that they was doing all that shit. That's what I was doing. That's what I was doing. So how I got daddy issues? How? I put the malt liquor in my daddy's hand and told him, drink, daddy. Big lads is what they call them. Keep. You want to know how my mother became a crackhead? I'll tell you. She wanted to be in the intern program. She's a government employee, and it was called an intern program. And so if you went in the intern program, you automatically got these GS government steps increases. So she was a GS 7, I think. And by going in the intern program, she was going to be a 9, then an 11, and a 13 in the program. And the program was a year long. And it was hard as hell. And my mother is not a good student. So what my mother did was she started dating one of the guys in the class. Michael Davis is his name. Rest in peace. No, I'm not saying that for real. Michael Davis was his name, and he is no longer with us. I had nothing to do with it. He died on his own. And so she started dating him. And I did not like Michael Davis. He had a jerry curl. His pants were too long. He wore dress shoes with jeans, and his jeans was under his shoes, so his jeans were always tearing at the bottom. He wore hideous sweaters, and he had a scraggly beard. He had long nails. I didn't like that, but I didn't know about the coke nail back then. So it's pinky. It's okay. So she started dating him in the course because he was smart. I believe he had ADHD. And so he first introduced her to nose candy. In case TikTok and YouTube is going to make this motherfucker restricted anyway. So at first he was just doing it without her. I came home one day when she's in the living room. My room was right behind the living room. And so they have her china with a razor blade. And he's introducing what they're getting ready to do. And I come home. She starts yelling at me and tell me to do my damn homework. That's what we were looking at in this situation. Me doing, okay, cool, got it. I'm going to be on the other side of the wall because in case you know, like my room's on the other side of this. Oh, okay, got it. Okay, great. And then the next thing you know, they started 51ing. Anybody knows what that is? That's 420 laced with nose candy. Smoking. And then the next thing I know, she is a full-blown crackhead. And because she's an honest crackhead, after she sells all of our stuff, she gets a second job to support her habit. And she's bragging about that. Even when I was crackhead, I didn't steal nothing. You stole my childhood. So after 18 months, I come home one day and the lights are off. So I say, well, we got to need lights. So I called my friend Angela and said, I'm coming over there and move in with y'all. Angela's mother was also loosey-goosey, so she was always at her boyfriend's house. So I moved in with Angela for 3 weeks, her and her sister Adrian. My aunt calls me 3 weeks later and says Angela was in my class. So we just caught the bus from her house. And then, no, her mother did used to take us to school. She'd come home, take us to school, pick us back up. We go back to Angela's house. That's how it happened. So my aunt calls and says, you got to come home. We need to talk. I ain't coming home. Fuck that. She lost her mind. So we come home. She's like, no, you got to come home. You're moving with me. So now I got to come home and listen to my mom sit in the dark room. She didn't say I'm sorry. She said, I need some help. I'm going to go away. I'm going to get some help. Because she never apologized for being a crackhead. Got it, Lacey. So then I had to go live with my aunt for 4 months. I get back home in February 1987. My mother has met her current husband at drug rehab. And so as soon as she gets home, the first Friday that she gets home, she goes on the east side, picks him up, and they spend a weekend together. And they do that until June. And then she asks us, can he move in? Anybody go to rehab, you know you're supposed to wait a whole year before you date anybody because you got to get your shit together. She did not wait a week. And the rest, they say, is history. So she ended up on crack because the man that she was dating to help her get good grades in her intern program literally was doing her homework for her. She also told us before we knew how bad the habit was, she told us that she had to take a pay decrease, which was why we didn't have money anymore, was because in order for her to be in the intern program, she had to get pushed down to a 5 and then go back up to a 7. That was not true. So those were some lean months. We were eating things like cucumbers and tomatoes with vinegar and seasoning salt for dinner. We were taking bread and putting it in the oven at the bottom and putting butter and sugar on it and tea, Lipton tea for dinner. Because we didn't have any food. That's why my sister started dating a baller and I started doing landscaping. Because no money was coming in. No food was coming into the house. Nothing was taking place during that time. So, yeah, she couldn't hack it. And then she ended up cracking it. To this day, she will not talk about that time. You ask her why she did it. She said, because I wanted to do something for myself. She has no real reason as to why she did it, but she did it. And the rest, they say, is history. That's the brain, neurologically. So she got scared because she had not flunked out, but quit junior college. The intern program was hard. So she did what cheerleaders do. Go find some strong man, help you through this tough time. And then our lives were never the same after that. Because what she needed to do was come home and do the homework herself. Had she done that, our lives would have been different. But she didn't do that. She did what she normally did. And now, here we are with all of her decisions. And by me saying here we are, all the other things that I had to recover from that time going forward. So her brain is not wired for excellence. It's wired for every day. She made a now decision and she kept making now decisions. And now we don't speak anymore because I'm unwilling to act like none of those things happened because that's what Oscar wants. Oscar wants you to let that shit go because when Oscar made a decision, Oscar wasn't thinking about the consequences of that decision. So in Oscar's mind, what the fuck is you still talking about that? My sister would say, let that go, let that go. That's Oscar. That's Oscar saying, let that go. Because Ms. Darlene would say, well, let me make amends for what I did to you. Let's unpack neurologically why I was behaving that way. That's what a logical brain that's regulated would do. But a dysregulated brain does not want to keep hearing about that, does not want to self-reflect and self-correct in the default mode network. It's not wired for that way. It's not. And they haven't changed. My sister's 56. My mother and her husband are about to be 76 in September and December. And they're all still the same people from 1987. They have not changed at all up here. They still have that toddler brain from way back in the day. So when you start looking at it from that perspective, does the physical harm and the emotional damage and all of that, is that still there? Yes. But you have to get to a place of neurological acceptance. That's what I'm working on. Everything that happened, my objective by the end of 2026 is to say, the reason why that took place is because this is what happened neurologically. I'm not there yet, but it's only July. Got 5 more months left in the year. Hopefully I can get there. If not, within the next year, where I can literally start saying, this is what took place behaviorally. Here's what happened neurologically. Because that's the only way that we can actually advance. Because we keep saying, you did this to me, and you did that to me. You did this, and you said that, and you did that, and you did this. And what is it actually solving neurologically? What are we myelinating when we keep doing that? So that's the neural part of neuropability. Now let's talk about the pability. That's the personal accountability part. And if any of you were on a TikTok live, I was talking about personal accountability for Black men, not African American men, but Black bitch men. Always got some shit to say. Ain't got ever nothing to do. Always talking about how hard it is for them without saying how hard they made it for everybody else. So there is a personal accountability. A personal accountability. Someone tells me, I can't listen to you because you got that wig on. All right, now I'm here. Okay, well, let's see who the fuck you are with a half-faced profile photo. What the fuck is wrong with you that your profile photo is doing this? Phones go back. You can even put that motherfucker on a tripod and have a whole full body photo in there if you want to. So your profile photo look like this. So that's why that TikTok live went the way it did. Because there's a group hiding in plain sight that's completely unaccountable. And no one is holding them personally accountable because of the Oscar narrative. And that's why we spent the rest of the TikTok live showing the difference between Dr. Oligodendrocytes, married with children, taking care of the kids so the wife can get a break, to a bitch-ass motherfucker talking about my hair. Bitches talk about hair and nails. That's what bitches do, not men. Not to mention y'all got these sprayed on beards and these wigs too now. We're going to dismiss that too. So there's this personal accountability component that no one wants to address. The personal accountability elephant in the room. So yes, there is this neuroscience and the pability of the neuro. The pability is the problem. The pability, the back half. Because if you don't hold Oscar personally accountable for the immediate gratification and the lack of inhibitory control, you can't do the neuro. You can't get to the neuro because the pability ain't happening. You got to hold yourself personally accountable every day to do a neuro rep. That's how you get to the neuro. That's why it's called a neurological repetition. If you don't do the pability, there is no neuro. Nothing at all. The discipline to get up every day and bring Miss Darlene online and do the neurological work is how you get to the neuropability up here. That's how you get there. So when an unaccountable Oscar-fied motherfucker comes in my comments, I'm doing the pability part. I'm doing the you don't have fucking inhibitory control and you want some immediate gratification and that dog don't hunt no day of the week and that ever, never, never. So I'm doing the pability part. That's where Captain Thomas comes in. Now, if you start doing real dumb shit, then Dee Dee from the D is going to show up and really show you how you being unaccountable. And that shit don't happen over here. So that's why it has to come together. That's why it's neuropability. So unaccountable people assault people. Unaccountable people say and do dumb shit. Unaccountable people seek immediate gratification. And then unaccountable people make excuses and excuse-a-lie, and they have false narratives for identity protection to make it normalized that what they're doing is not unaccountable. That's what's happening. Someone gets victimized and the predator doesn't have to do anything. The victim somehow has to justify what happened to them. Someone eats too much, they get both their legs cut off, an arm, and they're blind. And now other people have to take care of them because they could not stop eating sweets. There are people who are no longer here because people couldn't stop drinking beer. They get a little jail time, a little DUI, and that's it. And they, you got to get in the car, you might have to ride a bike for a while. But there are people who are no longer here because some bartender, somebody say, hey, your ass need a 12-step. And then it's, what are my cravings? When am I craving alcohol? When am I craving food? That's just too late. Lacey said it's in a millisecond and it happens faster than a heartbeat. It's still too late. Hence the neuro. The neuropability ends all of this. So that we don't have to be like, oh my God, hypervigilant. Who's going to fuck something up? Who's going to do something wrong? Who's going to do something? Because we don't know what somebody's Oscar is going to do. And if your brain ain't strong enough, you don't even know what your fucking Oscar is going to do. That's why everybody's fight or flight. That's why everybody's fucking scared, walking around like, what am I going to do? I don't know. It's real predictable. Oscar is going to choose immediate gratification 10 times out of 10. Oscar is always going to choose immediate gratification. That's why you got to strengthen Miss Darlene. That's why you got to do neuro reps. Each individual person. And then you use the principles of real leadership. And now what you got is a bad motherfucker in the making. That's what you got. A bad motherfucker in the making. So when Oscar comes to show up to tell me I need therapy, I got daddy issues, you need some help. Why? Why do I need those things? Why? What happened? On my own, I don't need those things. So what caused me to have daddy issues? What caused me to need some help? What caused me to do that? Not a Miss Darlene, but an Oscar. Protecting another Oscar. You see how that works? Because Oscar just wants to make sure that they got another Oscar to talk to. So it doesn't matter how you're unaccountable. It just matters that you are unaccountable. It doesn't matter what your brain don't know how to do. It's just good that it doesn't know how to do anything, but instead of keep hope alive, keep Oscar alive. Life shows you who you are. Seems like you were the one with the strongest brain. Yes. So it's everywhere you go. Oscar's there. There's a cadence, and I don't know if Anita's on there, but he used to say, everywhere I go, there's a drill sergeant there. Everywhere I go, there's a drill sergeant there. So you can just put Oscar in. Everywhere I go, Oscar's bitch ass is there. Everywhere I go, Oscar's bitch ass is there. Because that's what's happening. Everywhere you go, there's a bitch ass Oscar brain there. Now you gotta figure out what you're gonna do. Because Oscar's there. What kind of mood is Oscar in? What is Oscar looking at? What is Oscar doing? 95% of the shit that trolls say to me is shit you can see. Because that's Oscar. Doing his Oscar shit. So my work is challenging every day. Because Oscar is running shit. Oscar is seeking immediate gratification. And Miss Darlene is weak. And over here, I got attrition. So I still got to make the standard the standard. You can't half-ass do this. You can't have a half-myelinated Oscar and a half-myelinated Miss Darlene because it's neurostability. Neuroscience, neurobiology, applied and operational neuroscience with personal accountability with the 74 principles of real leadership. So if I let you half-ass do one or the other, then I'm letting Oscar win. I got one choice. Strengthen Miss Darlene or get the fuck on. Strengthen Miss Darlene or everything is still going to stay the same. It's going to remain the same. And the B's that are just not being born 50 years from now are going to be sitting somewhere with a fucking Oscar telling them you need some help, you got daddy issues. What were you wearing? Why didn't you run? Why didn't you tell somebody? Why was you at your house? Sleep in your bed. Why would you sleep? Why weren't you up? Why didn't you push them off of you in your bed while you were asleep? I mean, what was you doing? Did you have a Hello Kitty nightgown on? Why didn't you have on some pajama pants? That's Oscar shit. That's Oscar shit. That's what that is. So we're going to go ahead and do our 60 seconds of silence for our reset of our SGACC. And when I come back, we'll have Ask Dr. Donna. Not, again, the self-reflection Sunday that I planned, but I will listen to the higher power, God, and the universe, and teach what needs to be taught. Let me count you in. 3, 2, 1. All right, what questions do you have for me? And drink water. Anybody got no questions? Or the comments broke? Sorry, has a question. Y'all scared to ask questions now? Oh goodness. Good morning, Andrea. Good morning, Nola again. Regina, if you're listening, your star turned gold too. So the different color in y'all stars by your name shows your streak of how long you've been. And Andrea, did you I think I asked you that on TikTok before Homeboy showed up. Did you pay your membership? Hard to follow after that. Still sitting on thoughts. Okay. My amazing offspring said so. Yeah. So Andrea, again, I apologize for missing your 30 days. Giving you your stuff. You did a great initiative in getting to it, and then just agreeing to make sure you. I think you said yes to that, but just your membership isn't showing up. The level 3 inside the membership. So take care of that today. Nola said, "Do you think all crimes are linked to inhibitory control?" Yes, I do. I have a beautiful voice. You're saying because I can do voiceovers, or what I'm saying, Sarah? Yep, when you directed me to change billing, I assumed that was my green light. Yes, ma'am. And I'm just telling you that that has never happened to me before. So I'm apologizing. I apologized already. I'm apologizing to you publicly too. So, and I know you're like, Dr. Donna, this shit wasn't a big deal, but it was a big deal to me. So, yes, Nola, it is 100% a lack of inhibitory control because you're not thinking of the consequences. Even when you're planning it from an immediate gratification perspective because you're harming somebody else. So a regulated brain with an intact insula and ACC has empathy. The ACC has empathy for other people. And so in order to commit a crime, you override the empathy to do it. Like I said, I've been broke. I ain't hit no licks. I'm like, nope, I'm not doing that shit. Fuck it. God, higher power, universe, and make a way. I'm not doing that. So the sheer fact of doing it. Now, I'm not talking heat of the passion crime. Somebody's coming after you and that's self-defense and you wasn't planning it. I'm talking about overall shit, hitting licks and, oh, I'm going to do this and crypto and then we're going to go and do it. Yep. All of that. 1,000% a lack of inhibitory control. Because the inhibitory control says don't do that. That's a bad thing. But when your brain is wired for dysregulation, you have no idea that the impact that is going to be because you don't care. Inhibitory control says stop and let me look at the consequences of this choice. Let me play this movie out. If I do this, what's going to happen? And that logic and reasoning is coming from the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. So a logical, reasonable person. That's why whenever you go to court, they say, what would a reasonable person do? And then now, did that person do that beyond a reasonable doubt? 51% preponderance of the evidence. Now I went back to my master's degree. You're like, oh yeah, she got she had a degree in some shit. So yes, that's what was actually taking place in their brain as they planned it. So you have the different first, second, third degree, all of that. Premeditation and not. Malice and forethought. Just confirm that it shows me as a member on YouTube at level 3. Okay, I can check it on my end. Yes, ma'am. If you went and renewed yesterday at level 3, then I will check it out after the live, after my shower, after the live. Shri said, me too. All that you express is something to sit with and difficult for me to transition away from. One moment, please. Okay, so y'all sitting with what I said. Now let me explain something to y'all too. When I'm saying that, it's coming down in real time. So once I switch, I'm like, okay, let me get back or get to the next part of the agenda. So if you need to sit with what I said, it is Self-Reflection Sunday, so sit with what I said. What I will do is continue on so we can finish the live because we need to keep myelinated what we do every single day. So if you need to sit with it, sit with it. If something comes to you later today, message me and say it there if you need to. So go ahead and type everybody has a brain mindset. I jumped the pew pew on that and joined as a member early, assuming I needed to join at the chat discussion. Okay. So let me make sure, because because it's Gina Stark. Yeah. I don't see it on there. Stay right there. You ain't got to go nowhere. Because when I'm in the membership, I don't see that as, hold up. On there in the membership name. We'll get it resolved today. Just keep doing what you're doing, and then I'll see what I see on my end. Sarah said, when will this feeling of newfound strength through neural reps start to feel regular? I need to prepare for the new exciting feeling to wear off so I don't crash. It's 8 days to create a neural pathway. So you would be at level 2, day 1. Then it's day 14 on level 2 where it becomes implicit. Well, it becomes a habit in the basal ganglia. And then day 42, which would put you at day 5 on level 3, is where it would become implicit. So yeah, the novelty of it is there. But when you start having, when you get to level 2, the neural reps are a little bit more advanced. By the time you get to level 3, you start searching the brain. So when you got to when you got to research what the fuck the thalamus is, that shit ain't going, because the neural reps is going to get longer. So it's going to naturally occur. By the time you get the midway through some of the level 2 questions, not using your phone for half an hour, it'll show up intermittently, but definitely after that. So yes, thank you, Shay. So you can all start saying my attention is a resource and everybody has a brain. Yes. So my attention is a resource. Everybody has a brain. My attention is a resource. And then you can go ahead and type what you did to strengthen Miss Darlene, what you did for fun. Just go ahead and keep doing it. Because and I don't have to read everybody has a brain. My attention is a resource. You're myelinating that for yourself. What I will read is what you did to strengthen Miss Darlene, your brain dumps and everything after that. Yeah. So what did you do to strengthen Miss Darlene? What did you do for fun? And Sarah, you said you like the paint, and go to Dollar Tree and grab you some of them watercolor books and all of that, and start doing that if you haven't done that already. Five Below, Dollar Tree, Ross, all of them have some types of supplies. So you could be drawing on a budget. So I see most of yours. My attention is a resource. Tiffany, I think you had something. Did you? Fuck. Damn, shea butter, man. Did I see Tiffany say? Yeah, Tiffany is thinking. Got it. So say what you got to say. That's what you did yesterday. Go ahead. Hey, I ain't too proud to be cheap. I will go and find a deal. I'm sitting on the thing to roll my chair around because I wanted a round one. I waited till that thing was at the price that I said it was going to be at because I knew it was going to go down. It took me 5 months to get this thing. I'm like, yeah, nah, fuck that. I ain't paying $40 for that thing. Andrea said, for fun, I watched 30 minutes of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That's a Western, right? If I'm not mistaken. What did you do to strengthen your brain, Andrea? Because that one's not on there yet. So strengthen and then for fun. Shree said, I strengthened my brain by swimming in the ocean today. Well, go on with your bad self. The most I ever did was do capsize drills in a lake. I don't fuck with the ocean. But awesome. Sarah said, I want a brain t-shirt so bad, but I have to wait till next week according to my budget. That's cool. I choose to get the Real Leaders book first and a visual dictionary so I can remember the words. Yep, that was a better choice. Oscar wanted you to have the t-shirt first. Okay. Dr. Oligodendrocytes said, to strengthen Ms. Darlene, I kept my promise to myself and followed my plans for the day. That's awesome. Sarah said, is strengthening my brain by sticking to my budget? Yes. Because it's a lack of, it's inhibitory control. So staying within your budget says this is how much money I can spend. Going over budget would be Oscar winning. So yes, that is strengthening this, because Ms. Darlene is saying no. That's where the inhibitory control is at. Andrea said, to strengthen Miss Darlene, I got up before the lives to do the neuro rep. Yep, and I saw that. Yes, ma'am, before anything else. But I was cutting and pasting Dr. Olagun's stuff, so I didn't have time to read it. And Lacey's, that I will show at a later date. Teresa said, as I go through the playlist, should I be engaging in the assignment as well? Am I supposed to show my work in the comments section before I get too far down the playlist? Yes, for you, because of where you are, you can actually do the work and you can comment in the comment section as to what is taking place for you. So there should be some comments there. Shayi said, for Ms. D, I watched the YouTube videos with my girls to learn about our hair terminology, and hairstyles because we're entering a new phase for managing our hair. Got it. Daisy said, for fun, I went to the Tandy leather shop to make purchases and I watched other students make their own leather belt from scratch. Daisy, did you say what you did to strengthen Miss Darlene? So again, if y'all could still go in order, because now I'm going back and forth, strengthen Miss Darlene, then for fun. That makes it simpler for me to read because now I can't track if you actually said the other one. I had fun yesterday. I decluttered. Sarah said I did my feet while watching a movie for fun. Andrea said to put respect on my brain, I got to bed as early as possible. So then the brain dumps before the respect on your brain. So how many brain dumps did you do? Right, y'all should write it down. So everybody has a brain. My attention is a resource. Strengthen Ms. Darlene for fun, brain dumps, respect on your brain. Sarah said a lot. Teresa said a lot to process. Shree said, for fun, I enjoyed 30 minutes of belly laugh with tears streaming down my face. Well, that's awesome. Bridget said, to strengthen Miss Darlene, I did my PA neuro rep first thing this morning. Yes, you did. I think that's the earliest you ever turned your neuro rep in, Bridget. Daisy said, to strengthen Miss Darlene, I read. Sheree said, I put some respect on my brain by not drinking while others did. It's interesting to watch people get drunk while you stay sober. Okay, Andrea, take the just in front of the one and put one as the thing. Word choice matters. If it was one, then it's one. Then you hear me say it need to be 5, but that just in there is no. Bridget said 5 brain dumps. Sarah said I did 2 brain dumps. I meant to say I strengthened my brain by sticking to my budget, and the movie part was for fun. Sarah, I'm gonna say this one more time. Look at me. Hopefully you're not driving. You need to be doing 5 brain dumps every day. 5 brain dumps every day. You're avoiding shit. There's no way you're not doing more than you're doing 2 brain dumps and Miss Darlene is staying online. Absolutely no way. Every time you even think about taking a drink, you need to be doing a brain dump. It's 5 or more for you. Are we clear? 12 brain dumps. Got it. Andrea, you are not at 1 brain dump level. And brain dumps are not punishment. Daisy said I did 6. Brain dumps are clearing your head so that you can understand what is taking place. So Ms. Darlene operates at 100%. I'm going to use this as an example. If you find yourself complaining, it's time to do a brain dump. If you find yourself saying, this isn't fair, it's time to do a brain dump. If you find yourself confused, it's time to do a brain dump. If you find yourself not being able to make a decision that you need to make, it's time to do a brain dump. So it isn't, I feel bad, I'm going to do a brain dump. Everything's going great, I'm going to do a brain dump. It's anytime your brain is not operating at 100%. And you can't get to operating at 100% because you're not doing enough brain dumps to have neural clarity. So you won't have these self-reflective moments of growth because you won't grow when it's time to grow while life is lifing. So anytime your brain is not neutral and clear, that means something else is up here. If you find yourself thinking about the past, it's time for you to do a brain dump because you're in your default mode network doing a routine task, and instead of self-reflecting and self-correcting, you're mind-wandering, daydreaming, and ruminating. So if your rumination means you're worrying about a problem that ain't yours to worry about, you can't solve world hunger. Why the fuck is you worried about that? That's not for you to solve. In your default mode network, if you've been around long enough, I would say I was brushing my teeth this morning. This thought occurred to me. I was washing the dishes this morning. I was in the shower and this thought, those are routine tasks that the brain says, okay, I know how to wash my ass. Let me go ahead and self-reflect and self-correct. 7 brain dumps from Shri. Shaggy said, for fun, I played a few games with our girls on our drive to the hair salon. Zara said, okay, 5 brain dumps. Teresa said, how did I have fun? I had a FaceTime call with an old friend of 20 plus years. Their lives they lived on the other side of the country of Florida. Reminisce over the good times that we shared. Very nostalgic. 3 brain dumps yesterday. Not enough, Shayi. And then Shayi, while I got your attention, because you're on lives, but then you're at work. You feel like that you're this other person, like you're having these 2 separate experiences and you're not merging them together. That's because you're not being the real you. And I said that, and I will continue to say that. So what you have myelinated is, I can't be Shayi and be mom and employee and wife and bae and all that together. So because of how your brain works, you have compartmentalized everything. And the job that you are working on neurologically is to bring it all together and say, this is me. This is who I am all the time. Now, situationally dependent. Sometimes you got to be the disciplinarian. Sometimes you have to be the nurturer. But you, as an individual person, it's you. Completely 1000% you. You in your 40s, you in perimenopause are about to be. So it's time for you to start being the real you. Estrogen be damned. And this whole compartmentalized thing that you're doing, that friction in the ACC is because you are saying, well, no, because moms don't do that. Well, wives don't do it. Well, I'm a teacher, I don't do it. So you playing double dutch with this shit. Jump in and be 1000% your unapologetic self, the genius that you are. And you kind of so used to, well, you don't want to be the smartest person in the room because you don't want to overstep the boss and all this other bullshit. Stop doing that shit. Yesterday was the last time because you're like, but I'm compartmentalizing. You are. Put all that shit together. You walking around with ingredients. Go ahead, mix that shit together and make the best version of you that you can make. Nola said, I strengthened Miss Darlene by leading both of my appointments yesterday's with them being organizations suggesting mounting perspectives. Nola said, I did 3 brain dumps. I put some respect on my brain, Bridget said, by keeping Miss Darlene active yesterday. Teresa said, what did I do to put some respect on my brain? I continued my study of neuromobility for an extra 3 hours in addition to my 3-hour morning event. Well, look at you. That's going above and beyond. Noah said, for fun, I watched X Games. Noah said, I did 3 brain dumps. Zara said, I'm in a kind of false euphoric state because I feel great with no complaining or anything. I think in my head, it's all gravy, just being honest. Like I really think I'm going up. And you can be. And it's okay to have that feeling. Teresa said, what did I do to strengthen Miss Darlene? I kept vigilant guard over my thoughts to prevent from losing focus and concentration. Sarah said, I'm an alcoholic, so this is how new stuff goes for me. The pink cloud type of time. Yeah, and I get that. The difference is you're doing neurological work this time. And because there is a system in play, that's why I'm telling you, you got to start doing these brain dumps. So when the euphoria wears off, Ms. Darlene will be strong enough to kick in. So that's what the brain dumps are for you, to keep your head clear and stay in reality. Teresa said, Oscar is terrified. He's getting very loud, causing me mental distractions, but I am persevering. Winners never quit. Quitters never win. Yes, man, real leadership applied. Shay said, it's interesting that you're saying this because I've actually noticed moments when it's starting to drip into each other. Yes, ma'am. All my projects were going well. I didn't stop until I was too exhausted to even think. I even forgot to eat. Nerd heaven. Okay, don't forget to eat. Don't forget to eat. All right. Has everybody answered brain dumps, respecting your brain? If you have, what did I learn today and what did I learn about myself? And part of me saying make sure you answer is because I got to elevate and go a level up. And I can't be like, hey, make sure you put your this. Make sure you do that. Because neurologically, again, we got to keep going. Got to keep going. Sarah said, I put respect on my brain by following previous instructions and getting the tools I need to tap back into drawing for fun. Yes. Go back to when you were you before life started happening to you. And it's called The Shadow. If you read the book, The Tools, go get that little cute version of you. That's why when you get to level 3, day 2, you literally have to look at a childhood photo of yourself and reflect on that. That's why my 5th grade photo is looking at me right now. And I'm looking at it. What did you learn today and what did you learn about yourself? And then that'll be it. Level 4 Neuro Rep is already in there for level 4. And so for those of you at level 3, again, when you get to level 4, you got 2 Neuro Reps to do every day. And it's taking what you've learned about the brain, and now you are processing what the Insula is doing in real time, what the ACC is doing in real time, and the dorsolateral, ventromedial, and Oscar's ass. So you can think, oh, I'm going to just research the brain. Okay, well, at level 4, you got to start processing what's happening in your brain in real time and do the level 4 Neuro Rep for the life. It all builds upon each other. So go ahead and phone it in if you want to. Sarah said, I learned today that I need to follow instructions, and so at least 5 brain dumps to prepare for reality. And I learned about myself that I'm aware of the phrases I have tendencies of going through. Shree said, I learned today that the different instances in which brain dumps are useful. Right. It is to get your head clear and keep it clear. So it's not, I feel bad, let me do a brain dump. That shit is too close to journaling. Sometimes it's, I want to figure out what's the best way to approach this new thing that I'm doing. I can't think of that, so let me clear my head. So I do brain dumps for us to develop what's going to happen in the shop. What products are we going to use? So it's so your brain can be high functioning. It's clear. No cortisol. Noah said, I put respect on my brain. We're going to bed on time after a long day. Yes, it was a long day. A different day, but a long day nevertheless. So what did you learn today, and what did you learn about yourself? Bridget said, I learned that brain dumps is so your brain can be high functioning. Clear, 100%. It's not your phone battery. 100%. If my brain was not 100%, I wouldn't be able to do none of the shit I'm doing on a daily basis at this point. There's no fucking way I could afford to have a clouded brain. Oscar can't be in charge of shit, or all this is going to fucking fall apart. Noah said, I learned people hurting people is a lack of inhibitory control, and it all goes back to the same source. Yep. Immediate gratification in the orbital frontal cortex. That's what I'm saying. And Amy and Lala sprinkled in. Daisy said, I learned that I need to not let Oscar disrupt my brain dumps. Bridget said, I learned about myself that if I feel stuck, I need to level up. Yep. Noah said, I learned about myself that I'm able to take on more from my brain operating at a higher level. That's it. 1000%. There's no other way that it is going to happen. You got to self-reflect and self-correct, and then take your ass to the hippocampus bank of neurons, talk to the dentate gyrus, that's the teller there, and say, give me some more neurons. I'm about to go do big shit. So while you all are still typing, I'm going to say this, as my eyes are itching. Oscar got everybody stuck in a rut. Stuck in now. Rinsing and repeating when it comes to this people shit. I'm not talking about technology. We're using technology right now. It's the brain can do some technological shit because it's event-based. Once the phone is here, the phone is here. But this people shit, we still ain't got it right. We still don't have it right. Daisy said, I learned about myself today that when I'm stuck, I can do immediate brain dumps. Always. You're always talking about how flustered you are, Daisy, and you can't think straight. Do a brain dump. So Teresa said, what I learned today is that I need to go back and clean up all of the stories, the narratives that I told myself to survive. You can prune them. You ain't got to clean them up. I know that's what you're saying, but I'm saying you're actually pruning those stories. You're using the microglials to prune all that shit because none of that shit was true. None of that shit was true. Donna got drunk at a party and got a train ran on her. protects the predator. Donna got roofied at a party and 4 black men assaulted her. That sounds different. The weekend before she started her freshman year of college. That sounds real bad. Nobody want to say that shit. No, those weren't bad guys. Those were their friends. They were just having a good time at my expense. All right. Shree said, I learned about myself that, wait a minute. It popped up. That I have truly prioritized my brain and its inner workings. Yes, ma'am. Dr. Olagun, to put respect on my brain, I took a nice nap and I felt tired and got back in the saddle afterwards. Shay said, I learned about myself that I need to be fully myself at all times. I need to pay attention to let all of me be present in every moment. And the reason why you need to do that, Shay, is because think about what's happening when you're not you. So you are hypervigilant, and that live is coming between. It's probably going to be tomorrow or Wednesday, but it has to happen before Friday because I told Karen that it would be there before the end of the month. So here's the thing. Imagine what's happening to your brain, your limbic system, fight or flight, your insula, tension in your body, and the friction in your ACC every time you decide that you have to code switch, if you will. That you have to be something else, that you have to make somebody else's Oscar comfortable, because that's what it is. So what's happening to you neurologically? What are you not able to pay attention to because you're making sure your shirt, your nail is not broke, and your hair, and you're doing all this. So think about that. If you're like, okay, so all right. Okay, so today we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna make sure that we're doing it. That's what's happening in your brain. So cortisol is coming. So Miss Darlene came, Darlene, because she trying to, the gate is half up and half closed, and all of that is happening for what? For an Oscar brain. For an Oscar brain. That's what's happening. That's why I read that motherfucker on TikTok like a nursery rhyme. And everybody that represents his tribe. So now your brain can't. Miss Darlene is too. She's like, okay, wait, no, we got to code switch. We got to tell, but that's not who we. That's why you're exhausted by the time you get to the end of your day, because you won't be you. If you're you, then you don't have to be somebody else. So you're not trying to figure out. Imagine if you were doing a one-woman show, because that's what you're doing. And now you got to put your wardrobe on in front of the audience, and you got to take it off and put this new wig on and turn it to the next character. You know how tired you would be if you got to put this long wig on for here, but this character wears glasses, and this character wears high heels, and this character is a hoe, and then this character, you too many characters. A real one-woman show, you got one outfit on, and then you just tell the stories, and you're you. So you're doing too much instead of being who you actually are. So you're reducing yourself by the minute. Andrea said, I learned that blaming the victim is so people don't feel at risk themselves, something I have been suspecting for the last few years. Yes, ma'am. Teresa said, want to learn about myself is that I'm a lot stronger than I thought, more than just survival. I have a story to tell. Go ahead and tell that motherfucker to everybody. Dr. Olagun said, today I learned that part of my responsibility is to ensure that Oscar stops with this generation in our... Yes, sir. I resemble that remark. Andrea says, story of my life as a customer service monkey. And Dr. Olagun and Shayi, thank you all for allowing me to use your family as the example today. That's not what I was intending to do. I was intending to use that example and Lacey's example, but there you have it. Dr. Olagun said about myself, I learned I actually like hanging out with Shayi's kids. They are a cool squad, like their mom, thankfully. There you go. Look at that. Now you can call them her kids. I'm okay with that. That's an excellent example, Dr. Donna. That was useful for me. Which example was that, Sheree? Anybody have anything else to say? Use us. Yes, sir. I'm just telling you that that was not my intent. I had a different whole message because I was going to show what Lacey sent me some questions about it. And so I was going in a different direction, but it worked out like it needed to work out. So it was a perfect example because people could see the difference immediately. So that was a beautiful thing. So anybody else, what you learned today, what you learned about yourself? Your brain is a beautiful mechanism. It is the most beautiful organ in the body. The most beautiful organ in the body. And I'm saying that one woman show. Yes, ma'am. So, oh, got it. And I'm saying that because my first neuroscience course, he kept talking about how beautiful the brain was and look at this beautiful staining and all of that. I was like, why the fuck is he saying that? It ain't beautiful. It's just a brain. And now here I am a year later, this beautiful mechanism that you have in your head. Goji and Kahal, the neuron doctrine. Grateful for the growth that you're helping us achieve. And I'm grateful for y'all using the system that I built. Dr. Donna is that a chef? She's cooking. So the point is this, ladies and gentlemen, it's all neurological. It's not neurological. You will, at this point of my studying, and thank you, Shayi, for what you said about the self-actualization video versus now. And I appreciate you understanding the level of work that this takes on a daily basis. No one can convince me when we're talking about human beings that it's not neurological. It starts with the brain. It starts with the neuralness of it. Not the behavior. It's too late. It starts here. See how many times I'm just myth busting shit from a neurological capacity? Like, that ain't, oh, hell no. That ain't no, the fucking brain would have never said that. A regulated brain would never, under no circumstances. So we're getting to a place, and I got to get there first, and I'm working on it. Because please believe me, I'm still like, if I see my mother and her husband, I don't know necessarily that I might not try to lay hands on the sick with the fivefold ministry. I ain't there yet. Out of sight, out of mind. If we physically in the same spot, I don't know. I mean, hopefully I got my own clothes on, because then I'll start adding up like these shoes from 2025. I can't replace these shoes. I can't get this purse. This is my good hair, and they don't have this color no more. So if I start evaluating my outfit, then we could be good. But if I got some simple clothes on, they got that Please Use It Brain t-shirt on lock. I can get another. I can go to the doggone Old Navy, get some more of these pants, go to Shoes for Cruise, and get these shoes. And this is a simple hair. So I don't know if I'm there yet. I hope I am. I don't know. But I do know that my objective is to be able to say what's happening neurologically. Myelinate that. So what people call demon possessions is really a severe lack of inhibitory control. That's where I'm headed. That's where I'm headed. Why would you call it a demon? I mean, if you really, because what's going to happen, and I guarantee y'all by the end of this week, y'all going to really start saying, what's happening neurologically? That don't make no damn sense. We didn't just accepted this shit. Because all of y'all clutching y'all really the pearls right now about the victim shit. All of y'all saying, so the victim got to go to therapy. The victim need help. See how that don't make no fucking sense? I think it's called a demon because it appears so evil. It's just, look at it this way. Y'all ever been around an addict that need to get a hit? Or you been that addict that need to get a hit? Lacey, if your food got messed up, and I know you at the thing, you might not be able to respond, but you looking forward to your phasic dopamine, and you done ramped up your dopamine, and then you get to the point where you're supposed to get that phasic release and you don't. I think you might look like an evil person. Y'all ever seen an overweight person order be wrong and they throw shit at the person? That's evil. That's evil. You ever met a dry drunk? Even the therapy for offenders is still conventional therapy, so not very effective. There you go, Andrea. They're still not looking at, motherfucker, why you myelinate this? And let's prune it. Well, when you feel like touching people or after you touch people. No, motherfucker, stop touching people. Let's prune that shit and myelinate something else. They do look possessed. You ever seen an addict need their shit and they can't get to it? They will do anything to anybody to get that fix. You have seen it on TV, if nothing else. Yes, the lack of inhibitory control and immediate gratification. Jared said it. Consequences be damn. I need my bump. I need my hit. I need to get it. So yeah, if you ever watched BET Trap Queens, what they say? I got addicted to the money. I hurt all those people. Damn, I feel bad. I wasn't even thinking. Being hangry ain't no joke. So, yes, a lack of inhibitory control. Give it to me. Give it to me. It's the hedonic treadmill. It's never enough. It's never enough. And it takes more than it did initially. So having $1 million ain't enough. You need $10 million. $10 million ain't enough. You need $100 million. $100 million ain't enough. You need $1 trillion. Staying on Earth ain't enough. Let's go to space. It's never enough because it's never going to be enough because the GABAs aren't saying, stop. Stop. That's enough. Stop. So every day you wake up more. You're going to turn into somebody possessed because your possessions are possessing you. That's true. So yeah. Money can't buy it. You can't. Money solves money problems. That's it. So amazingly, this mechanism right here, where the inhibitory control exists in the executive function of your brain, you actually have GABA neurotransmitters that are inhibitory. You got excitatory neurotransmitters. Everybody's talking about adrenaline and dopamine and all that, but you got GABAs. Bring everything down. Keep everything balanced. Keep everything balanced. Because you don't want, in depression, your GABAs are too much. So you got too many GABAs. Now you're over here like this. You got ADHD, it's still, no inhibition whatsoever. So there's balance. There's balance. And we create that balance over here. One neural rep at a time. One brain dump at a time. One neural pathway at a time. So you got to get that shit out. You got to prune all of that Oscar shit that don't fucking work. All these badass narratives. We're born with a brain that's wired for comfort, safety, and survival, and negativity bias. Think about it. You're a baby. You can't wipe your ass. Right? You got to create a negative alert for people that go, oh shit, the baby hungry. Oh shit, the baby need diaper change. Oh shit, the baby want us to play with us. Play with them. That's what's happening. We just got adults doing it though. No control, because the baby can't. You know, you sitting up doing like this. You need assistance with the chair and everything, and then you don't. That's when the new brain comes online. You start accessing the 86 billion neurons and the 85 billion glial cells, so you can wire your brain for a bad motherfucker, not for excuses and excuse align. Everything has a reason why it can't be best. Even the people telling us about it, their brains are wired for, well, when you fuck up, come over here and we'll fix you back up. No, don't fuck up. And if you do, hold yourself personally accountable. Because you ever notice that the people doing the wrong shit don't never really apologize correct? Well, you know, I'm sorry if you was offended. I'm sorry if your shit got stole. Bitch, you stole it. Still in there. Never. Oscar's gonna double down on identity protection. And people are like, well, they didn't say sorry to the family. Oscar wasn't gonna let them say sorry to the family. Not gonna happen. Do you know how strong your ACC and your Insula has to be for you to tell the truth and apologize? It registers as physical pain in the body. You ain't about to cause no physical pain to yourself. That's why you're not fucking exercising. That's why you eating everything under the sun and everything else, because it's physically painful to do exercise. Even after you get acclimated to it. It's still, well, I ran 4 miles a day, tomorrow I'm run 8. That shit gonna hurt 2 days later. That's what Dr. Oligodendrocytes says. Shit. All this physical activity, running with your daughter and everything. Now, I mean, you a senior millennial. You a zillennial. So, hell yeah, you felt that. So it doesn't want to register and take responsibility and accountability for anything. Because when you did it, you didn't weigh the consequences. So consequences show up and you're like, why are there consequences? I got phasic dopamine from that. What do you mean consequences? Why would there be consequences for me doing something that gave me physical relief? That's why they look confused. Because they are. What do you mean? Okay, so I lost my foot. Where the apple pie at? Y'all can push me around. I can get a prosthetic. I need candy apples and candy yams and alcohol. What do you mean cirrhosis of the liver? I'll just get a liver transplant. Somebody will give me a liver. Ain't somebody already on the donors list? That part. Oh, I got comfortable gout shoes when my gout flares up. Yeah. I wasn't hurting anybody. Goodbye, Bridget. Have a great day. I wasn't hurting anybody. They had good credit scores. That money was just sitting in that account. Of course I took it. Easy to do. I'm a black hat hacker. All of it. Oscar. And that will give you solace. You won't be able to, and the Serenity Prayer says, accept the things that I can't change, and the knowledge and the courage and the wisdom to know the difference. So we can't change that, but we can change ours. And so we can have facts and be objective up here so that you can navigate through life. Your brain can brain differently while life is life and people are peopling. You can implement neuropability day in and day out. All right, last one. Zara said, now I'm suspect of the religious community that made up the term demon. It's like blaming a lack of control on a ghost that don't exist. Message. Remember the church person that came on the other day? I said, why y'all always just talking about sin and the devil? Why y'all ain't talking about Jesus? Why is everything about sin and you just a sinner? Y'all sinners. I don't really talk about losers over here. I talk about what the brain is doing. I don't really talk about broke people. I don't really talk about fat people all the time. I don't talk about that because there's real leadership over here. Now, I use it for an example, but that's not what's happening. So the church people, not people who follow a higher calling through Christianity, but the church people, always talking about sin. Those are, in my mind, that's the difference between a black man and an African American man. Those are not the same people. That's actually following the practice of a higher calling versus you a sinner, cursing. You weigh 400 pounds. Gluttony is a sin. That's one of the 7 deadly sins. We're going to talk about that, or we're going to talk about me saying motherfucker 12 times a day. Let's see. He without sin, let him cast the first stone. Okay, got it. So yes, in that regards. So again, Oscar has explained away everything for people so that in theory it would all make sense, but all of it is a lack of personal accountability. When you put your personal accountability glasses on, you're going to see clearly. When you do that, you're going to see differently than when you don't have them on. So that's all I'm saying is, let's do neuropability for a whole year globally, and then we can see if I'm right. Until then, we will never know for sure. Nobody will ever know if Dr. Donna is correct until you start actually doing what Dr. Donna is saying do. Pruning underway. And you're going to have a better brain, because that's what this is, a DIY project for Build a Better Brain. Your brain, independent of anybody else, because you got to walk around with this brain every day. I agree with the sentiment, Miss Sarah. The demons are their embodiment, the person's thoughts, but we always look for a way to blame everything except for ourselves. You know why, Dr. Oligodendrocytes? Because everybody do like this. If you're not driving, do this. Bend that wrist this way. That shit hurts. If you old, it really hurt. My shoulder, my arm, my wrist, this part of my shoulder blades and every fucking thing hurt right now. This don't hurt. You got way more mobility. Try to do that. Point outward, and then bend your wrists, and try to do that. Do the same thing this way. This shit hurt. Look at this. This hurt. Now do this. This shit is easy peasy lemon squeezy. You can go up. Try to do like that. This, your shoulder ain't gonna do all that. Holding yourself personally accountable is powerful. It is a powerful shift. I say it all the time. Fix you first, it fixes a lot. Fix you first, it fixes a lot. We are in this current situation that we find ourselves in from Oscar-fied, unaccountable people in dysregulated ass brains. And the narratives are there to protect the comfort zones of everybody. And I'm saying, no, enough is enough. No and no more. So you will do this work if you're over here, or you can go back over there to where it's not working. Go back and have a dysregulated brain. Go join the best. Yep, there you go. Dr. Oligodendrocytes said, thanks for the affirmation. So if you really, and I'm going to close because I got to pee. I had to pee for the last 20 minutes. But this has to be done as well. So if you really just start looking at it, as we said yesterday, what's happening neurologically. what's happening neurologically. Stop looking at the behavior and say, what happened neurologically to cause the behavior that we see? When your brain is strong enough to keep doing that, you're going to say, so the victim got to go to therapy. So the church folks are saying demons. The devil made me do it. I actually got a video. Zara, if you remind me, I'll send it to you. Anybody wants it. I am a TikTok devil. I got a Snapchat devil lens on my face that literally says, don't keep saying I made you do it or something to that effect. I literally have a video that says that. Literally. Y'all want it? Send it. I'll send it to you. It's a Snapchat lens. Anybody else catch that? Dr. Donna keeps emphasizing it. So I pause to think and ask why. The personal accountability part restricts the finger to point inward. Yes, it does. You ain't gonna do that. So between this hurting, the insula registering it as physical pain, and the lack of empathy and friction in the ACC, hell no, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't never your fault. It was always them, and everybody got a them. Well, I did that because they did that. I did that because they did that. So it works because now everybody gets to let each other off the hook because it's this. That whole thing. Yep. Personal accountability, neuropability. You got to put it together. You got to put the brain with the personal accountability. And now you got a high functioning, highly capable person that can brain while the brain is braining, while life is lifing, and while people are peopling, you still gonna be able to be a bad motherfucker. That's the reality of the situation. So I appreciate you for those of you who are on TikTok Live and today. And I have had this conversation with chat. I'm like, the lives keep getting longer and longer and longer. I'm like, people can drop off. They can watch it. They can come back. But just like I got lives from last year, this time next year, somebody gonna need to see this live. So this information has to be here for the future. It's just that's how it goes. And that's what season we find ourselves in at this time. So as always, thank you for everything. My pleasure. And I got more and more insights coming because I'm getting more and more neural clarity by the day. I definitely am. And so that's why I'm using my default mode network to think about what I think about, metacognition. Now, I don't have 3 steps for you to have it all. And Dee and Dr. Dee. Yes, my pleasure. And that's why, Shayi, you see me, I'm a cursor. I'm a use profanity. I tried to not curse for a long time. And I'm like, that shit ain't me. I'm from the cut. Sometimes I got to say shit, damn, fuck, and motherfucker. That's who I am. If that's all you hear from me, then you shouldn't hear from me. That's how I see that. And Jared doesn't use profanity. Regina uses sparingly. What's her name? Lola doesn't use it. Dr. Dee. So, but that's who I am. That's why I ain't got a problem taking my wig off. I don't have a problem doing none of that shit no more because you're not going to shame me for immune deficiency that I had no control over. That's all Oscar. I'm told y'all, I ain't getting this. You ain't going to see this nail fixed until Tuesday, August the 4th because my nail appointment is on Monday, August 3rd. I'm going to walk around on purpose because of how many men I dated that I couldn't have a fucking broke nail. This motherfucker going to be broke on purpose because I could go on Monday. I could take a picture and send it to my nail tech and she'd be like, I could fit you in on Monday at this time. Nope. It is going to be broke. Swearing is my verbal hot sauce. There you go. Thank you, Andrea. I just love your word choice. You just have a way with words, Andrea. There are things that just are poetic to me when you type them in. I literally sometimes you just turn a phrase and it's amazing to be able to be on the receiving end of it. Verbal hot sauce. I love that. And Shayi said, I noticed that you didn't when I watched the self-actualization video. Right. I did. You notice that? Because I was teaching neuroscience back then. You notice that? If you watch some of the other videos when I wasn't teaching neuroscience back then, I dropped something every now and then. But yeah, because I was watching my instructors and they didn't. And then once I got the information, I started. Yes, ma'am. He's like, oh, she wasn't cursing there because I was teaching. I was mirroring. Those mirror neurons was mirroring my instructors at the time. And then I say, yeah, okay, that shit's not going to work. Got it. Because the neuroscientists are not talking to people. They're talking to neuroscience students in a classroom. But I'm talking to human beings in life when life is life and then people are people. And so that's different. That's a different level of engagement, because I'm not teaching you so you can remember where the basal ganglia is, or that the limbic lobe is inside of the temporal lobe and it's the smaller lobe. And that ain't gonna get you. No, you got to be able to do this shit while life is lifing. And so that's what happened. I noticed that as well. And I was looking at it like, yeah. And I was unsure about what I was saying. So once I got it, there you go. Somebody or some people should make the kid version. Yep. We talking about, who we talking about, Dr. Olagun? I think we talk about the same person, but it's not me. Is it somebody else that we talking about? Are we talking about the same person, Dr. Olagun? Because it's not me, right? Or is it me? I don't think it's me. Is it me? Or is it Shayi? I am thankful to be learning from her too. Yes, ma'am. Who we talking about? And then we can go. I don't think you're talking about me. I thought you was talking about Shayi. Okay, that's what because you keep saying, let me explain it to it like I'm a 4-year-old. That's why I was like, yeah, that's not my responsibility. Now I can't make you a brain teacher. I can do that part. Okay. All right, synchronicity over here. I'm picking up what y'all putting down. That's what I thought when I read your neural reps. There you go. All right. I know you were talking about me, Sarah, but Dr. Olagun, that's why I put it in the quotes. Remember the term when you ask and you don't know, ask, why don't I do it? Always some other body. That's right. Exactly. So yeah, timing is perfect. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, you all go off, and we are over 2 hours now. And I appreciate those of you who stayed for the whole time. And this is for your brain just as much as it was for mine. This is synchronicity, and this is an exchange. I can be coachable and provide coaching, lead by example, and be willing to follow and learn to say we. Those are 5 of the principles of real leadership that we're using today. But your brains are coming online. Miss Darlene is going to start Darlene, and you really are going to start seeing the Oscar absurdity of the way human beings interact with each other. And it really is dysregulated and dysfunctional. And it doesn't have to be soon as people start using neuropability. And if Jared wasn't on vacation right now, he would have said fire, because that was a phrase right there. So thank you so much. God willing, higher power in the universe. Hypervigilance is either going to be tomorrow or on Wednesday, most likely Wednesday, because we're off tomorrow. So I'll have time to actually prepare for it. So that will be part 2 of the self-actualization video from last year. So you all go off and have a great, fantastic, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious Sunday. I wanted the Snapchat video. Okay, message me on you can actually message me on YouTube, because it is a YouTube video and it can show up on there. So some stuff shows up on YouTube messaging, but not the graphics. You still got to send those through Instagram. All right, you all go off and do wonderful shit. Keep your SGACC neutral, and go ahead and keep Miss Darlene online. Brain dumps all day long, so Miss Darlene can be at 100%. I value and appreciate every last one of you. Thank you so much. Take care. Adios.